Hi everybody and welcome back to another video. So in a matter of hours time we will know the winner of this year's Eurovision Song Contest, and let's just say it's been, from the perspective of the host nation, it's been a bit of a wild ride. Personally, I went to go and watch the jury shows for semi-finals 1 and 2, and let's just say if you haven't been to see it live before, I highly recommend it. It is absolutely spectacular. The ambience and the aura that you get from watching it in person is so different from watching it on the TV, but there's just so many elements in it that just sort of amplifies it up. So yeah, it's been a bit of an interesting year. I think that the UK, of course, hosting on behalf of Ukraine, have done a very, very good job. So I didn't get a chance to record a video around what I thought about Semi-1 and Semi-2 in particular, the songs, and in general, and the run-up to the grand final. So I'm going to do this now. So let's go back to Semi-final 1, which took place on the Tuesday night. 15 countries took part, and 10 obviously went through. So first off, we have Malta. So the Bosco went in with the song Dance at Our Own Party. And yeah, it was a very good crowd pleaser of a song. It got people in the mood. People, I think, especially loved the second half of the song more so than the first. But I think going right between Norway and Serbia kind of, I don't know, I think it kind of confused viewers a bit, and I think by the time the 15 songs had got through, I think they just completely had forgotten it by then. And there were just other entries that stood out, because when you look in particular at who qualified out of those 15, there was a few towards the start, there was a few towards the end, but it was that middle section where between 7 and 11, all of them just bang, 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 bang went through. So I think it's just one of those things where the viewer's attention might have just slipped off a little. Otherwise, it was performed rather well. I feel bad for Malta yet again. Televotes and Malta don't seem to go hand in hand. Juries, and usually in this case, do tend to counterbalance the public vote, so I think they are needed, to be honest. I feel like without those jury votes, I think some countries will potentially struggle. But it was as I said, it was a very well performed song. Malta should not be ashamed of themselves. They did go in with a very solid entry. It just happened to be a very good semi-final. And I think the same says for Latvia. They performed right after Serbia and right before Portugal. I did have an inkling of a feeling that this might just slip through. Just based on how I saw the performance in the arena, because I was completely blown away. It was one of the most beautiful stagings of the year, and it was presented in such a way that realistically I felt it was robbed, to be honest. And I think in terms of Latvia, because they haven't been in the final now since 2016, I think it's a case of just keep going, keep trying to do what you do. One of those years will come where you will get to the final. In terms of the song, yeah, it's on its own. It's a very good standout song, but when you add the other 15 in, I think, again, viewers might have just completely forgotten about it. But otherwise, it might have been a bit too niche for them, but who knows? But yeah, I think it was really well done. As for Ireland, I was disappointed. I think the vibe and the energy had just completely gone by that point when I saw the jury show. Connor just didn't sound as great as he had done during the Late Late Show, and he had that aura there, that, you know, that spark of confidence, and I think that once the live shows happened, I think it just dissipated, and I think it was the one song that I think all of us knew that sadly wasn't going through. You can't just send a really safe song and expect people to vote for you in droves. You've got to actually really put the effort in. And to be honest, I think if Wild Youth had gone in with one of their other songs, because they've got some really good songs, I think that would have stood more of a chance, but they've submitted a song that literally screams sending for Eurovision, and I think that was the biggest problem to start with. It was the song overall. The vocals weren't quite there on the night, but the staging was a little lackluster, but yeah, more than anything, it was the song. So yeah, I'm not shocked. To be honest, I think that will have finished last in the semi as well. So we'll find out tomorrow what the actual results are, but that's my prediction. I think they finished last in that semi and potentially last overall of this year. Azerbaijan, Yeah, they couldn't have done much more with the staging. It had a really good gentle aura to the song. The ambience was there. The colour scheme was brilliant. Some of the shots are a bit questionable, but otherwise, you know what, Azerbaijan, was a really authentic song, and I think that's what sets it apart. And just keep doing what you're doing. I think this is a really good route you're going down. Do not give it up. Likewise with Latvia, likewise with Malta. You got the right path this year. It just happened to be not your year. Just keep going down that route because you will get there. Netherlands, yeah, pre-live, I absolutely adored this song. It was in my top 5 and it dropped to my top 10. But yeah, I just think the changing the key might have actually have helped vocally, but at the same time, all of the power, the whole oomph of that song had just completely been lost. And while it did feel a little bit more intimate, there wasn't anything there for people to grab onto. I think that was the problem. The vocals were probably better than we've had them beforehand, but I just don't think they were quite there. I'm not putting the blame on Mia or Dion in the slightest. They did what they could with Black Song. And I just think what it was that this was purely down to the broadcaster and the delegation around them. I think what they should have done was worked out where they were vocally first before the song was written, because it did not suit them in the slightest. You can't just do a thing where you write a song for somebody without knowing what they sound like in the first place. You've got to have a voice that complements the other and is able to carry that song over. And it just was not the case. And it kind of sucks because the Dutch had been on such a good run as well. At the same time, maybe a national final might be a good idea, for all we know. It's worked for Belgium, so there you go. Who knows, it might work out for you as well. I think Portugal might have just been the one to squeeze in. I know a lot of people have said Switzerland, but I think Portugal might have been the 10th slot, if not Serbia, or if not Moldova. I think they would have been 8, 9, 10. Not necessarily in that order, though. Okay, so that's semi-1 covered. I'm going to look at semi-final 2. This one was more hard to call. Prediction-wise, I've got to say, semi-1, my sister did get it absolutely bang on. She got 10 out of 10, so I'll give her that. Semi-2, however, not so much. I think both of us screwed up here because we sort of banked on Greece and it did not work out. Again, going through the running order, Denmark, it wasn't a bad song. And when I say a bad song, I mean it was a decent song. It wasn't an amazing song, but it weren't bad in the slightest. And I think that's just typical Denmark in a nutshell. Moreover, staging wasn't too bad. And I suppose it did add the music video element into it. There are some things I did question over, like did we need the scribble on the camera, etc. And I think it was just the vocals more than anything. They had improved quite a lot since we'd heard it Riley live for the first time, but I just don't think that going first helped it in any way possible. I still think going first did not make an ounce of sense, and it should have been the likes of Belgium or something like that. So yeah, as soon as Brunette performed, she was just absolutely incredible. I think it was more or less game over. Romania. I can't believe I ever have to say this, but I think this, other than Ireland, was the most dead-on-arrival song of the lot. And I felt bad for Theodore because he really had no support whatsoever from his broadcaster, and to a point where he was on stage on his own. He didn't get to perform it the way he wanted to. His girlfriend ended up having to come in as backup for support on the stage, and it was just a complete mess. I just don't think they really had any clear vision of where they wanted to do the staging, how they wanted to present the song. And to be honest, if Theodore had to come with every single little minimal thing himself, I will give him the benefit of the doubt, because it's not easy, almost impossible to come up with everything yourself. But again, we're just looking at the broadcaster here and going, shame on you, you really should have backed him up. And we know you've been wanting to withdraw because there was a petition last year, and because you wanted to withdraw in the first place and people said no. So I think this was almost, dare I say this, I felt like this was almost deliberate to make sure that they performed that badly. They had no choice but to withdraw. So I don't know, that's just my thoughts. It wasn't great though. People didn't respond to it, and yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised if this finished last in their semi-final as well. I wouldn't say it's finished last overall, but Yeah. So we're looking at Iceland and Greece next. Dilia, again, incredibly insane vocal. Absolutely powerful as heck. Running around the stage like goodness knows what, and so capable of hitting notes every single time. And if this was a singing contest, then yeah, she would definitely be shouting for top 5. But unfortunately, it's just one of those songs where I just think that it just didn't really have a lot of impact. And with the staging as well, there was nothing really too much going on. And going right after Cyprus, which was always going to get some support in Belgium, I just don't think it really stood out too much. Sad, but I think if I'm looking at somebody who potentially would have almost made it, it could have been Iceland. As for Greece, yeah, again, same with Romania. There wasn't really a lot going on stage. I think vocally, they were both incredibly good. You know, they are really, really good for what they do. And given that Victor's only 16 as well, great voice. Think should have a really good career ahead of him. Hope he keeps going. I, for one, will support him. But yeah, I think it was the staging more than anything. There wasn't really a lot going on and not enough for people to have any attention towards. And I think it just fell flat amongst the pack, which is sad, really, because it was a really good song. He looked so deflated after Slovenia got the final ticket, and to think that his own delegation didn't actually give him any moral support on the night, and you could see a lady from the Estonian delegation come over and give him a hug, and from what I heard, the other person who was sitting amongst him was his own dad. And that to think they were the only people that actually gave him some moral support kind of sucks. Like, guys, back your act every time. Georgia, that's the one I'm really sad about, because I think that was the one out of everybody, semi 1 and 2, that had the biggest chance of going through. And I don't know whether it was a case of people just didn't quite connect with the song going right after Slovenia, but yeah, it's just sad. At the end of the day, I thought she'd make it, but no, apparently it wasn't to be. In terms of what Georgia can do to get to the semi-final, because like Latvia, they haven't been in since 2016. Just keep going. Keep going. One of the days, 1 year, you'll get it. You know, you will get that song and it will go through and do well. If the juries had been there, I think they would have appreciated the vocals at least, and the style of the song, the complexity of it. And it might have been a bit too niche for them, but they would have given it, I think, enough support for it to get through to the final, even if it was only like 9th or something. I think they would have had that. This is the 1 year they really needed the juries in for her. San Marino, again, did what they could with the song, did what they could with the staging. There wasn't anything particularly bad about it. I think it just didn't quite stand out, that was all. I don't think they got last place, to be honest. Sucks, but do you know what? San Marino have done all right over the last couple of years, and I think, again, just keep trying. You'll get there. But hard to call. Obviously, we'll find out tomorrow what the full breakdown of the results are. Would be nice to see with the backup jury what their scoring would have been, and then if we combine the two, would there have been any changes? That I'm always intrigued about. So I'm going to talk about the grand final now, and it's an interesting one because the majority of the favourites have all been dropped into the first half of the grand final. Obviously, they plucked the ball out of the big bowl, and then they reveal it on screen which half they're going to be in, and then the producers come along and go, right, we're going to put you all in an order and hopefully it will work. I think a lot of people are already aware that I am not the greatest fan of having producer run decided running orders. I've always been a advocate for random draws, because that way then if you've won, you've won. If you didn't win, well, sadly it wasn't your day. And you can't exactly blame it on the producers for the slot you got given, because you drew that slot, you know, it's just the luck of the draw. With producers, though, people could turn around and go, well, we only screwed up because you put us right in front of, a very big favourite. You never know. So, Austria opening. Yeah, I suppose there was a slim chance of them potentially winning, but I think it's safe to say they are not winning. It'll get people in the mood. It's a great show starter. Gets the crowd going. Personally speaking, I don't think it'll be bottom 6 based on how traditional openers have gone. Don't think it'll be quite top 10, but I think it will be a push for the left-hand side of the board, probably around 12th to 13th. Juries will give it points, and I think public will give it points as well, but I think it'll be about fairly even balanced. So there's that. Portugal, oh boy, I feel bad for them. Same as Switzerland. They've been massacred here. It does suggest that maybe Mimikat and Remo didn't do as well as what we were planning on. And yeah, they've literally been thrown in the death slot, because I consider going third as much of a death slot as second. Portugal, sadly my sister has got it predicted that they'll finish last this year. Personally, I don't think it'll be the case. I think, sadly, bottom 6 I think is on the cards. I just don't think people are going to remember it after 24 other songs. And juries will give both sides points. I think they'll give Portugal and Switzerland points, but I just don't think the public will respond in the same way. I think Portugal will get more telly points than Switzerland will, but I think both of them are on course for bottom 5, bottom 6, sadly. I just hope that with Switzerland, I just really, really do hope it's not Maris Bear 2.0, where he's done well with the juries and then didn't get a single televote point. Sadly, I could see it happening. Poland. So, yeah, I know a lot of people have predicted that she'll finish last in the final. I don't think it's the case. Juries might sleep on the song, might throw a few points here and there. Public, well, the diaspora will kick in. I think they'll probably get, say, around 30 points with the public, potentially somewhere around the lines of that, maybe around 20 odd, with the juries finish with on 50, 55 points, probably finish around 19th, 20th in the final. Could very well see that happening. Either way, won't do great, but it won't be an absolute stinker on stage. I think coming right after Switzerland, it will have some standing out, but going right before Serbia and France, not so much. So, Serbia's been drawn 5th. Thank you, guys. Thank you, running order. Well, we're not winning. Let's put it that way. We're not winning. We're not coming top 15. Let's put it that way. I think that's definitely off the cards this year. I can see this happening where Serbia really bombs with the juries. I just can't see where the points are going to come from in terms of that. Yes, it's visually interesting. Yes, it's a bit futuristic, but I just don't think the juries are quite ready for that level. And objectively speaking, I can't see where it's going to come from. And I think they'll be bottom 3 with the jury, sadly. But in terms of televotes, they will get a decent result. I think overall 19th to 20th place is definitely on the cards, potentially as low as 22. Highest I'd say is around 16. But yeah, I just can't see it being the same as last year, where it just completely shocked. I could be wrong, it could very well surprise, but going before France, I can't see it happening. Sad to say, but we've been dealt with a really nasty blow there. France going 6th, and yeah, I think Lazara will do extremely well with the juries. I think she's on course for top 5 in that department. Public-wise, you're going in between a load of big hitters there. I just think that the public will respond to it in some way, but maybe not quite the level of what they did in 2021. But again, looking towards the final overall score, I could see top 10 on the cards, but probably around 8th to 9th. Not necessarily a top 5 overall finish. Cyprus, again, juries will go for it. The guaranteed points probably from Australia and Greece especially. No, I won't say there's a top 10 on the cards, but again, I'm looking towards between 15th and 18th for them to place. Spain, going right before Lorraine might hurt its chances, but then I would say that Blanca is a much better singer than Lorraine. Juries will absolutely love her to a point where she could very well top the jury vote. I could potentially see that happen. If she's not in the jury top 4, I'll be bloody stunned. The thing is that I just can't see the public vote going after the song quite on the level of what they had last year. I just don't think it will get a top 3 position. It's got a chance for top 10. I'm not ruling it out. I think it could very well place around 10th. At the lowest, 14th. At the highest, could come around 6th. Hard to say, but Spain are back. And that is the main thing. After years of them not doing well, they are back in business. And I'm just hoping, with these 2 sets of results, presuming Spain do well this year, I'm hoping we will be heading to Spain sometime soon in the near future. So, right, next up, we're looking at Sweden. The Yeah, I still have an inkling of a feeling that Sweden's winning this year. We could have a 2015 situation on our hands where juries reward Sweden like to the nines, and the likes of Finland. Because let's be real, it's a two-horse race at this point. It could be a case where Finland gets given around 5th or 6th to a point where they know even with a massive televote score, it won't win. Or it could be a case where Sweden does well with the televote, comes around 3rd, 4th, and that would be enough to take her over the edge. Or it could be a case where Sweden doesn't necessarily win the televote nor the jury vote, but has enough points combined to do it. I just don't think she's going to landslide it. It's basically Lorenz to lose. Let's put it that way. Okay, so between Sweden and Finland, we've got a very, very big vocal powerhouses. So we've got Albania, Italy, Estonia. There's 3 big ballads. One a bit more dramatic and ethnic than the other 2, but let's go with that. Albania, yeah. They just have this way of getting into the final, even when people think that they've got absolutely no bloody chance. And they prove us wrong every year. Again, could see potential bottom 6 on the cards, could potentially see around 18th, because that's where they usually place. Could see that happen again this year. Italy, people are sleeping on Italy. And then they're still sleeping on Italy. I still think it's going to hit top 10. Might come around 9th to 10th, but I think at highest it will come around 6th. I think it will be top 4 with juries. Televote could go either way. Could get about a mid result and then probably finish around 8th overall. Estonia, yeah, big vocal powerhouse. Juries will love her, but I don't think the televote will respond in the same way. I think, again, mid-table, potentially lower end of the table. At best, Finland. I've already briefly mentioned Finland because of Sweden. Chances are Kalia will win the televote. How much by, I don't know, because I could see Croatia coming 2nd in that televote. I could see a Moldova 2022 happening in terms of that and eating a fair chunk of the points. If Carrier gets a televote score of over 300 points and gets a jury score of at least 150 odd, it could happen. I just don't think that Carrier's going to be getting around 150 odd jury points, but who knows? Prove me wrong. Televote wise, has to go big. Really has to go big on the night. I think he's winning the televote. I just don't know how much by. Either way, top 3 almost guaranteed. Could see it very well being the runner-up, but hard to say. Juries have rewarded songs like this before. Does he have the greatest vocal? No. But he sings a very different song to what a traditional jury winner would sing. Israel's done well in the past when they won in 2018, so who knows? We could be onto something very different. Czech Republic or Czechia going right after Finland kind of is a bit of a nip in the bud, especially when Australia coming right after them. I feel like they've been done dirty again. Every time they get to the final, they're always done dirty, and I feel like it's really unfair. Should do all right. Don't think it'll hit bottom 6, but who knows? I don't think it's quite top 10 as what we were all thinking to begin with. Australia, if it's their last year, I want to say, what a heck of a song to go out with. This is beautiful. It is truly, truly beautiful. Vocals brilliant, staging brilliant, song amazing. They have worked their asses off with this one. And if there's one year where I really want them to do well, it's this year. Subjectively speaking, probably my favourite Australian entry by a long shot. Could do well in both sides of the group. I think left-hand side of the board is definitely within reach. Top 10, probably. And that could surprise. Do you know what? If Australia randomly won, I would be totally here for it. Let's have a shock. Why not? Belgium going right after in 16th. I swear they went 16th last year. Again, Gustav I expect juries to really literally fall head over heels for this. Great performer, great singer, deserves a lot of love. I mean, they all do, but he really deserves a lot of love, and I'm hoping that the public respond as well. Don't think they'll respond in the same way as what the juries will, but again, on course for a left-hand side finish, maybe just outside, probably around 14th. Armenia could very well stamp on all the jury favourites and go, excuse me, I exist. Great position they're in, right between Moldova and Belgium, stands out a massive degree. Some people are saying it will flop. Some people say it will do a lot of better than expected. But this one's a bit hard to call. Could push for top 10. Don't think it will quite make it though. Could very well be the 11th of the group. Moldova, again, never underestimate the televote when it comes to Moldova. They will get points there. I don't think they'll get a massive amount of points, but they will do well and get points. Juries, can't see them going for this as well. I think this could be bottom 5 for juries, as in true Moldova fashion. But again, 13th, 14th definitely on the cards, potentially just outside top 10. Ukraine, do not underestimate Ukraine. They will do well with both sides of the spectrum. I would not rule out another surprise win. For the integrity of the contest, though, I don't think that's going to happen. I could see the case where they push for top 5. They could very well finish 4th in the competition. I would not be shocked in the slightest. It's a very well presented song, sung well. The production is so slick. The performance is so well choreographed and done. It's minimalistic, it's simplistic, but it's done so effectively. And if they won again, I'd be alright with it. Wouldn't say it's my favourite in the world, but it's a very, very well written song. And when the string section comes in, it really does give that oomph that we desperately needed. Right, to the back end of the songs, we have got Norway going in 20th, very different to Ukraine, very different to Germany. Don't think it's going to get the love that it was going to get to begin with. I think it's going to get a little bit lost. Still has a chance for top 10, but I just think it'll be pushing 10th if we're lucky. Yeah, can't argue with the song, to be honest. I just think it's not necessarily the greatest spot in the world. Germany, I know some people have said that Germany could very well be on course for last place. I don't think they are. I think Germany have done really well. They've gone in with a very good song this year. They have actually trying, and that's what we wanted to see from them. Even if the results didn't go with their way, they should be proud of the effort they've brought forward. Public votes could very well eat some of this up. They might think that they're onto something. Juries, they should respect and vote based on their vocals as well. The song may not necessarily be their cup of tea, but there are qualities there. They will get points from both sides. Whether it's a lot of points or a very minimal amount, I don't know, but I can't see them finishing last place. Potentially bottom 5, yeah, but it's not necessarily the classic case of Germany as we've seen in the last few years. Okay, so I'm going to quickly go through these simply because my battery wants to literally play up. Lithuania, Israel. Lithuania will stand out, do respectively well. Good vocals, simplistic staging, stands out in the field of the others that are around her. Should be on course to do pretty decently. Israel, good shout for top 5. Great performance, great vocals. Everything comes together. Could be a shock winner. I would not put that one out there. I wouldn't basically sleep on it. Could very well do very well with juries and public alike. Could get enough points combined to actually steal the win. Can't see it happening, but you never know. I would say it is on course to do extremely well this year. And welcome back, Israel. Slovenia, again, could do respectively well. Could very well get to the top 10. All they have to do is finish 6th or higher to get their best ever results, and it is a good shout this year that they could do that. Some people think it might finish just outside the top 10. Some people might think it finishes top 5. Can't see that happening, but you never know. Croatia, yeah, can't see this really going with juries. Think this will probably be bottom 4 with jury, potentially last place with juries. But it will absolutely slap with the televote. This will finish top 6 in the televote. Mark my words. People think, oh no one's going to really care for Croatia. They're just going to be completely last overall. No. Televote will go for this. They will eat this up. And I can expect them to finish in the top 10 as well. I would not be surprised in the slightest. Which leaves the homies, the UK, with fucked. Let's be real. We are absolutely, truly well screwed. Because look at all those entries that are going right before us. Yes, May is a really, really good performer. She has so much charisma, so much stage presence. And yes, okay, that probably does give us some indication. We will not go without points. We know that. But the problem is that it's those vocals. I just can't see, from the jury's perspective, where are those points going to come up from. We might get the odd ones and twos here, threes and fours, so I don't think we'll do too badly with the jury. But at the same time, in terms of the public, I just can't see where those points are going to come from. We might get so many points, but at the end of the day, I just don't think it's going to be enough to get out the bottom three. I could potentially see a last place on there, which would be the first time a host nation has got last place since Austria. And even then they were a bit screwed and a bit robbed over, but I could see it happening. I just don't think the hype is there that where it once was. I think once we knew the live vocal, I think all the hype just went. Same for a few of the other nations, but yeah, I'm a bit worried for them, but do you know what? We've hosted well. We weren't intending to win this year, but we can prove that we can send a really good song and actually put the effort in. I just kind of wish we just had the live vocals there as well to top it off. But do you know what? We could have a France situation, do really well and almost win the bloody thing one year, have a flop year where it completely goes wrong, and then come back next year and almost win the bloody thing again. So we could be in a France mode at the moment, so who knows. But anyways, this video is going to go on for bloomin' ever. I guess we'll just have to find out tonight and see where the votes are going to go. But those are my little predictions at the moment. Let's just put it this way, I'm banking on Finland to win because that's the closest to my faves. It's got a really good chance, if not Italy. If not Slovenia and Australia, who am I kidding? It's just my winner. My winner's got no blooming chance, but hey-ho. That's like most years. But anyways, feel free to drop down in the comment section who you think is going to be winning this year's contest. Please be kind to each other. I do not want a toxic meltdown happening afterwards. Because, let's be real, half of you are a bloody feral. Anyways, I've got to head into work because I've not got a lot of time left. So, as always, stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Thank you for watching. If you've got to the end of this, great. If not, I apologise. I am so sorry. But otherwise, I will see you soon.